pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got a chance to look over the minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion second, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Got a chance to look through the claims.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second, any other discussion on claims? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Old business. Lane's got landlord registration. Where we're at with that? She's wanting to know what we're doing with, we had some sign up, some that haven't.
Okay, obviously your UDO handles landlord registration. Previously, I provided you a memo about the legality of the protocol, which is in keeping with state statute. So if you have, those that have signed up and paid the fee, which is nominal, great, provide me a list of those who have not, and I will follow up by letter.
You're in that point?
It's fine.
Okay. The other old business.
Well, it's on here under legal, I'll wait.
Good. I talked to Andrew today, we're gonna mow that property one more time, till we get the paperwork all done. Down there at the Crane building, it needs mowed and fixed up. So, it's all still. The other old business. New business, Morristown football.
Hey,
We are not here to take up much of your time today. It's a simple checkup. You guys helped us a couple years back with the building. It's listed on the sheet I handed out. And we just wanted to thank you, kind of let you know where we are as a program right now, because you've been big supporters of us. In 2023, we added the 7th and 8th grade, the program was available for 7th and 8th grade. And then this year's our first year we're offering 9 through 12. So kids 9 through 12 are available to sign up for our program and play football. Just a lot of support from the community. We're doing real good, but as we expand, our message is that we want to keep encouraging kids to play as many sports as possible and keep our community and our school relationship good, because this program has really helped out a lot of kids. So as we grow, it is causing more issues though with the school as far as our growth and then the school sports and just counteracting and then scheduling, that kind of thing. So we're finding we're only able to play on the one field that they let us play on. So it does make it challenging. So we are looking for guidance from the town, advice from the town, different options to help us alleviate that pressure from us in the school, to just help that. We know the park could be an option to just think about and talk about, but we just wanted to get it out there, let you know we appreciate the support we've had, and that's basically all we want, and see if you guys have any questions about our program.
I think you guys have done a great job. It's been a benefit to the town. We appreciate you putting a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, I brought a lot of board members. It's been, it started off as just a few members, but it's built into a board. We meet just like y'all do once a month, but it's it's definitely become like a business, and we've seen it benefit so many kids, which makes us motivated to keep going. But just thank you for your continued support. Not looking for a handout here as much as maybe we can follow up with you. Maybe you can put your brains together and have an idea for us to talk about as far as playing field, because we got a lot of volunteers, and this helps so many kids. For a piece of land to cause this, to us not be able to continue the program would be
Greg,
sad.
how big does the land have to be? Because is it the size of a normal high school football field?
Yeah. We play on an 80-yard field, but we'd like to go to a 100-yard field. And, I'm not sure the exact acreage we would need or nothing like that, but it's like, you can picture that kind of, as far as a football field, that kind of area.
I didn't know if it was the same size, so we could try to start.
Yeah. But that's all I had. Didn't want to take up all your time. Appreciate your guys' continued support. And didn't know if we would follow up with an email or how you guys wanted us to maybe follow up in the future.
This is great seeing this.
We're using the center of the track right now, the old track.
That's the soccer field, correct? Yes. And
That's not what you're using.
or no, we're not. Sorry, I thought you said, is that what we can? I know we're using the field beside it right there, behind the girls softball field. Yeah. We've used that since 2021. And it's doable, there, but it does create some congestion there, when other events are going on. We have quite a following with K through 12. So, yeah.
Not much parking.
Yeah, it does. It's a challenge.
Grants available to even help with doing something like that, with Blue River.
That'd be something we could ask Blue River about.
Yeah.
They'd be willing to.
Give us a stripe and big goals and.
We need we have the property we can deal with.
Because we have the volunteers to maintain the field, we have the volunteers to stripe it, take care
How
of
much
it.
of
We
the
just got,
field north of the playgrounds are we going to
We have that.
use?
Well, we got all that to the fence line.
Right.
We got property out there, we got property over there.
sounds like we can talk.
We got to get grass and.
What about the field where the
Bus garage.
Can't grow anything there.
They got planted,
Huh?
they planted it.
Yeah, they planted it finally, but.
But if we start, we're gonna have to start getting it ready for the community center anyways.
Sorry.
We're gonna have to start getting that field ready for the community center anyways. How much are they gonna be able to plant after that?
Oh, that, and I was thinking.
We're thinking back when.
I'm
Over
thinking
here
back over
too.
here.
Cool.
That's cool.
You could probably get a full-size field.
That's why I don't know how much, that's why I was trying to figure out how much land they needed.
You see, with the bus garage, we own that 15 acres there.
It's behind that.
Yeah, on west, there, right in there.
Whoa. Good and flat. Getting to it.
I drove by it quite a few times.
Yeah, we could look into that.
There's a real nice basketball court out there. Pickleball looks great.
Yes.
Football field would look awesome too. That's all right.
Well, we just need to know about those things and we can
Yeah,
do our research.
thank you for listening. And should I just follow up with maybe an email or not?
Thank you.
Don't email Dave.
Don't email Dave?
Yeah, I don't ever get anywhere.
No, I'll get it.
I'll
get it.
Send it away.
Email.
Cool. Nice job,
On the
guys.
agenda,
Really.
so we can discuss it. All right. Thank
Well,
you.
what else we got new business?
Yes, you're still.
Where I am. My name's Dan Theobald, don't know, live here in town, and what was, Beanie and Linda Johnson's place. I'm basically just coming to ask for sidewalks in front of my house. I measured off today roughly 160 feet from where the sidewalk stops to where it picks up again south of my house at Lois Hart's. I asked for a couple reasons. One, like just yesterday, I'm watching a lady come from the south with a stroller. She's got two little kids holding the stroller, one in the stroller. She can't push it through because it's gravel, that whole bit. So she has to cross to the other side. then come back over to go where she's going. For my own personal kids' safety, people still see that as Beanie's business and a business location. It's not anymore. I had to put up signs for people not U-turning in my driveway, people just parking randomly in my driveway. I moved barriers in front of it because people would just pull in and park, random vehicles, work vehicles showing up, stopping. It's been that way for the last 3 years. So my hope is that if I had sidewalks, I could add some grass in front of the barn so that it now just looks like a residential barn and that kind of thing. I saw that we added some sidewalks in some other places. So I'd like to ask the town to do that. You might want pictures of what I'm looking at. I brought some.
I know where you're at.
I know you know. So I brought pictures in case. But that's my ask is just, yeah, there's a lot of traffic coming up and just catty-cornered from my property. I think that's Fletcher. Is that right, Brad? Chestnut, the south one? Chestnut. Okay. There's no sidewalk on that side anyway, all the way down. So the sidewalk extends on my side of the road, but you got this huge gap here where there's no sidewalk. And so I just want to ask that the town considers that.
We did get a guy who's been much more reasonable on sidewalks.
I saw the one they did at top of the hill.
Yeah, who's judge?
I mean, it was very reasonable.
Secondly,
Section here, we gotta finish that too.
Yeah, we got,
You got a drive on both sides of your barn.
yeah,
Is that it?
yeah, that's the barn. So it circles around.
Right.
Yeah.
Fix up the
Yeah, so all the way from my front yard down to the next house, there's no sidewalk. It's just gravel that's in there.
sidewalk stops there, doesn't it? That looks like
Yeah.
it stops.
Yeah, that's where it stops and it picks up there. Yeah, correct.
We still need a drive somewhere.
You like that two drives.
Two drives, it looks like.
I've got three actual entrances, two on it kind of, that's why people U-turn there on the north side of the barn,
Gotcha.
because they can go around
They can
that.
do a U, yeah, they can just.
Yeah,
Well, would blocking one of those off with the sidewalk help?
well, that's what I've considered is maybe
You know what I'm
taking that
saying?
north one out
Take
so
the
that
north
there's
one out,
not
so you
that.
just got the two.
Right, and that's where I'm thinking a sidewalk would help me, because surely somebody's not gonna U-turn around my barn, I hope. You know? My kids are constantly out there on bikes, you know, and I've got animals and stuff, and I'm just tired of people being in my yard, on my property, you know, other than, obviously, they got a right of way for a sidewalk, so I'd like to put it there so they can use that the right way, but try to keep vehicles from just thinking, I think a lot of them still see that as a business, you know? So they just pull in there, or turn around there, whatever they do.
What's our plan, with what we've got going on?
we need to do sidewalks, guys. I mean,
Well,
we're
working on it.
gonna be less on, asphalt this year, because that grant, we're not doing the grant, because they redone the whole grant, you can't do it until next year.
Next year.
So we could take some of that money and do some of these sidewalks here in town.
If you're open to other suggestions, I can tell you other places from the cross-country team. We know where there's some rough spots.
Surely not.
I drove around the other day, I was like, sidewalk, no sidewalk.
Many years, trying to get a sidewalk,
Or-
over 12 years.
Or a 4-inch gap between sidewalks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
The drop offs.
Anyway, appreciate your consideration on that. And secondly, your mention of the community center, I know that's something you guys are talking about. As the athletic director at the school, I would love to be contacted, maybe be able to be a part of helping you with that, because we are overwhelmed with not having enough gym space. And so if this is something that I think is gonna have gyms in it, I'd love to be able to get some coaches involved and have suggestions on how it can be something to help us out as well as the community. So, definitely just wanted you to know
We're excited.
I'm interested in helping with that, if wishes. Thank you.
Rick, your price on that?
Yeah, another option, do we want to also get a quote with like an approach where he's wanting the drive to be, so it kind of, you know.
You have to have an approach.
I think we stated, if we're doing sidewalks, we're doing the approaches, so we don't run into the problems we had over on,
Where they,
yeah, where they got Well, they got jacked up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're doing approaches.
Okay. So then I'll get with you and, figure out how you want it, and then I'll give a quote on it.
I would like us to,
We got some other sidewalks in town here that really need looked at.
we need to finish up some of the ones we started and connect them.
Yeah.
Like a full track.
And then when we did do the one approach, the guy cut the sidewalk out.
Are you serious?
So that needs repaired too.
Where do you cut it down?
I have no idea. He cut it out on both sides. Approach. There on South Street,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Really?
I was gonna say, that's my house, right in front, I live in a little blue house, and all the sidewalks are new. Stops right in front of my house and drops, and then everything else is new. It's weird, I don't know why they did that, but maybe because the church.
It's true. It's true. I couldn't believe it.
Where do we do this? Did we do it?
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck we doing?
He's got that horse now.
Craig's done a real good job on staying on top of those guys. And they look like they've done really good work.
We need to connect the dots for Christ's sake.
And the other thing I like about it, they're complete.
Yeah.
They put the dirt back, everything's done.
Yeah, the dirt where London and there before, so. They did a really good job.
Okay, so we'll look into that. What else we got new business? Clerk?
My question was, there's a really good interest rate currently for 6 and 9 month CDs.
Do it.
Okay. Well, we're getting ready to get that money from selling of the property, and we're looking at 4%. If we're not gonna use it immediately, I'm gonna put it in a CD so we can get some money back on it. Okay. That's all I wanted, just so you guys know what I'm doing. It's at 4%. At 6 and 9, well, she said off the top of her head, she told me 4% for 6 or 9. She said, but come in and we'll get, yeah. So I figured might as well make some money while we're waiting to use it. That's all I'm keeping you updated.
Okay.
Well, I got a question.
Yep.
Morgan, I know the water bills were screwed up this time.
The date.
Well, they were put on the wrong bill.
No, the date on the bill is wrong. It says June, but it's the same water bill. If you pull it up, the date says June, but it's July's bill. Just on Invoice Cloud, not the ones that got mailed out. It's the website that didn't update it.
It's just the ones that's online.
Yeah, it's not the ones in the mailbox. It's the July bill, but the June date.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Just Invoice Cloud. I've already messaged them.
And have you worked with this other guy? I can't think of his
Nope, they
name.
haven't got a hold of me yet.
Brian's guy.
Yeah, we've engaged a firm that I've discussed, and we're gonna hook you two up so you can use the, I believe it's called Keystone.
Yep.
Which is a software on utility billing. His office is familiar with it, cooked with it as an account. I've also gotten information in from Klosterman, and just got information in from Bungie because they had to run it up to corporate ladder to get approval and so on, so that is moving.
He has my email.
Yep,
Okay.
moving forward.
Anything else, more?
Nope.
Okay, legal.
All right, a couple of things. Number one, the title company wants a resolution authorizing you, sir, to sign closing documents. I have that resolution. I can read it in full or I can summarize.
I love summaries.
All right, well, basically says town council determines the best interest of town and residents sell property to a private buyer. We went through the bidding process, all statutory procedural requirements applicable to sale of municipal property, including but not limited to public notice, bidding requirements may have been or will be satisfied, and the town council desires to authorize council president Dave Benefield to execute all documents necessary to effectuate the transfer of the property to the private buyer. And then there is the date resolved that he's authorized, he can take what other further actions necessary, and it's in full force and effect from the time of approval. So if there is a motion to approve this resolution and a second and a vote, then Morgan can sign it and you can sign it, and I will get.
So moved.
Second.
get it to the title company immediately, and I presume we can close very quickly because the title policy has already been completed, it's clear. I don't think you had any concerns about title policy. So we'll prepare.
Can you email me the title people's information so I can send them our ACH?
Yep, yeah, great idea. Yeah, and well, and I think we covered that in the email, but yeah, we'll get that.
Okay.
It's ATA title, Greenfield office, I work
Okay,
with
I know the lady in there.
constantly, so. Get Dave's signature, get Morgan, and we'll move on with that. Okay, I have another one that will take 30 seconds. You recall the great tree controversy that fell upon the fence. Here is the certified letter that was sent out, Postal Service is moving quickly. June 11, 2025, and it came back to my office today as unclaimed. So, I have a suggestion subject to approval. And that is if Chief Trivito or perhaps someone at his delegates could deliver this letter. It's a letter on the fence.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Acceptable? Great. All right.
No problem.
Take care of that.
Very good.
Okay, next. This will take some discussion. The agenda has as an agenda item a letter concerning utility issues Bungie. So I will try and make this brief. There's been discussion between the town and Bungie going back to 2021 about Bungie's expansion and potential future utility needs. The discussion's been rather sporadic, and the town's consulting engineers, as well as the financial advisors for the town, are becoming concerned. And in fact, last Wednesday, there was kind of a fact-finding meeting Dave and I attended on behalf of the town, and several persons from Westler Engineering were present. To make a long story short, we know that Bungie is expanding, and we know that their expansion will create additional demands on wastewater and probably what I'll call potable water, treated water. But we're not entirely sure what those demands are, but the modeling done by Westler would indicate that the demand could push the town out to what is referred to as firm capacity. And that's a term of art in statute and regulations. Basically what that means is you have a maximum capacity. But your firm capacity is a capacity that you can constantly deliver on a daily basis. And from a regulatory standpoint, you don't want to necessarily go beyond your firm capacity because the capacity between firm and maximum is a cushion, it's insurance. I was asked by Dave and with the assistance of Westford to draft a letter to Bungie that tries to elevate this issue within their corporate organization. And I drafted this letter. It has been reviewed by the engineers at Westler. Westler, on March 20, 2025, provided a detailed document that they referred to as a memorandum of understanding to Bungie. Bungie acknowledged receiving the document and said they would get back with us, but that hasn't happened. So basically, the letter reiterates the point that the town certainly considers Bungie as an important corporate citizen. There's been a collaborative and cooperative relationship heretofore. The community wants to continue that, but it's time to really get on the ball. And consequently, I conclude this letter by basically stating Bungie needs to delegate some person or persons immediately to interface with us on this issue. The pointed part of the letter is, if these issues can't be addressed and resolved, the town will have to protect this entrance, and Bungie just can't freelance this. In other words, Bungie can't go out and drill its own well, because that's gonna draw from your aquifer. At the outer limits of what may be necessary, this could entail an additional water tower, an expansion of the wastewater treatment plant, and an additional water treatment plant. We expect Bungie to cooperate both from a technological standpoint, but also a fiscal standpoint. And consequently, I can read the entire letter. This was discussed and approved by the RDC because they're involved in the financing aspects of this. But with your approval, this letter would go out tomorrow, and we ask that they respond by July 18th. As I said, the initial communications were acknowledged by Bungie as being received. They were sent March 20, they acknowledged their receipt in April, but radio silence since then.
I say send it out. We gotta make a notice.
And as I said, Westler, I was in communication with them today, and we made some revisions based upon their input. So that will go out tomorrow. I will copy Elaine and Morgan. Last but not least, this is not on the agenda, but again, this is kind of old business. As you know, the town and RDC has agreed to discuss the installation of essentially a water line extension from the town's from the town's main to the meter of the school corporation at the high school. This will relocate the water line, take it out from under a parking lot, and in consideration for the town, in connection with the RDC paying for the extension of the line, the school corporation will assume responsibility for that line. I've drafted an agreement between the school corporation and the town, and again, it was reviewed this evening by the RDC and was found to be acceptable. So,
That just means that's our line from now on. We're done.
It's theirs to take care of,
Yep.
correct.
all the way to the road
From the main to the road to their meter,
is theirs.
correct.
We need a motion or?
Yeah, I mean.
Make a
just
motion to send that letter
To approve the agreement.
through the agreement.
I will get it on the school corporation.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I got copies, but the RDC read it and considered it.
Ready?
That is all I have for this evening.
Police.
Resolution number 4.
I think 3.
3.
I brought up at the last meeting looking into mental health services for first responders. If we were to have a critical incident, or the fire department's actually already had one. I spoke with some other agencies when I went to chief school, and they use for instance, St. Vincent's or St. Francis for theirs. I spoke with them during chief school, and they said that if I wanted to do that, I would have to partner with a larger agency. I didn't really feel comfortable with that, especially when it came to billings and things like that. So we had a group that came and did a presentation at chief school, and it was the Suncrest Psychological Services. What is a nice thing about them is they are specific to first responders. That is their main clientele, is firemen and policemen. What they offer is we do not have to pay up front. If we needed to send someone or someone requested to go, then it's a per visit type billing. And then that comes in with no indicators on who it is. There's no way of tracking back to find out who it is. It's an internal system. We would just receive a bill saying we need to pay X amount. I spoke with them the other day, and they did say that they would, if we wanted to, we could include family members in that. So, if we have a an officer or a fireman involved in some type of major incident, they would also counsel the family. Also, I asked about town employees. They said that we could also do the same thing with town employees. It wouldn't be just limited to police and fire. I asked about volunteers. I asked about part-time. They said we would just have to have some type of understanding that if it occurs while it's on our watch, that, this is covered by us if it, instead of whatever their full-time fire department is. That would be the only thing we would have to kind of work out, is if we would cover that or their full-time fire department would cover that type of incident. They also do psychological evals for new employees, if that was something that we ever wanted to do. The prices look fairly close to what I've seen other places. It's really hard to find other people to compare this apples to apples. But essentially what it would come down to is that right now, it would be, if it needed to be immediate because they're out of Lafayette, they're trying to add an office in Indianapolis, that if we had something emergency, then they would try and do a telephonic meeting first off and then move into a in-person if needed. Or they said they could drive up there if they wanted to, either way they could work it, or find an in-between spot. They would be more than happy to do that also. And we can do this one of two ways. We can say that there is X amount of money that we want to contribute to this, or we can say that each employee gets 6, 8, 10 visits, however we do that. And if an employee contacts them, all they do is contact us and say, is your employee list up to date? They don't say who's visiting. We just need to supply them with a list, and then they cross-reference that to make sure that employee is still employed by us. And then they would move on with it if we decided to do this. And this would be something where if, the individual wanted to go through their supervisor and ask for it, they can, or they'll get a phone number that they call themselves and they initiate the call. That way they don't feel like that their supervisor knows what's going on or anybody else would know what's going on. This is starting to become very common. I was surprised how many departments actually do it currently. When I was at chief school, that really surprised me. And everything from small departments to huge departments. This group here, they specifically work with small departments, so, which I think would be a benefit for us.
Okay.
So if this is something we're interested in, I can contact and say we want to do X number of visits, or we want to put X number amount of dollars down, however we wanted to do it.
What's the cost of a visit?
It's by the hour. See, if we were to have an initial call out, which let's say we had a major incident, fire department, police department, both involved in something, they come out and do a group visit for, I think starts at $160 an hour. They also have like an initial call out if you have a major incident, you need them to come in after hours. They have a call out fee of $300 on that.
Is this similar to what the school does with?
I don't know.
Something happens at the school.
I don't know. Yeah. This is specific to first responders and government employees is what this one's specific to. For instance, the primary therapist, she's a former paramedic. So she kind of comes from that line of work. They try and bring in their Indianapolis psychologist they're wanting to bring in. She's currently working for the VA, and so she would have experience on that side of it. They will also come out, if there's an initial, then there's like an initial workup fee where you come in, they get a plan that you're going to be able to hopefully handle this for the next number of visits or whatever. They offer sleep assistance, things like that goes with that. We've done something similar when the Shelby County SWAT team was involved in a shooting. We had a similar breakdown. We all met at the FOP. They had somebody come out and they did a critical incident. We can't divulge anything that's involved in it criminally or that would affect the investigation, but you can talk about what led up to it, what after the events, things like that. And they would be the person that would come in and handle that. So you have a third party unattached to it that would handle that. And then she said they specifically know how to deal with public safety and first responders, what information they can divulge, what information that they can ask about. She says, or if you go with a standard one, they may not.
Do they
know what
recommend
that
a
is.
set amount of sessions?
She said they're typically 6 to 8 is what they do per employee. But she goes, if you don't use them, you're not billed. The only time you're billed is when they're actually used. So all we would do is be signing an agreement that says we're going to allow X employee to have 6 visits before they have to then contact us and say, okay, you've had 6 visits. The next 2 are going to be X amount, or the next, 3 or 5. She says they're not a long-term care. She goes, that's something that's determined that this is long-term, then they recommend who to pass that on to. And they would help with that transition, but they are not long-term, not what they're here for.
We don't pay for it unless we use it.
Is this for the incidents that happen?
Yeah, incidents that happen, or just, one day you're like, this is getting to me and I've seen too much and I want to talk about it, then that's what they handle also.
And our insurance doesn't cover anything like that. Well,
Not free.
Yeah. She did say that they will not be billing insurance because she said it's become a major issue with psychological services because the insurances are now denying that because they're like, well, was it really needed? You didn't get it cleared before you went. And she goes, it's a lot easier just to do an hourly billing on it and then you don't get denied. We don't pay extra for it. We don't.
One of our young volunteers was at the Arlington one and he went in and found the young child that was lost in fire. So I've never done that kind of work, but I can imagine it would be hard.
These types of programs are certainly not uncommon with first responders and also common in the industrial world, although it's a different sort of EAP there. I liken these types of things for analogy. It's like fire extinguisher. You're not necessarily going to use it with any great frequency, but it's available if you need it.
It's just a matter of time before something happens.
Oh, yeah. And it could even be something that's happened. And I did ask her that. I said, so let's say we sign up tomorrow, but they want to bring up something that happened 3 years ago. Is that covered? She's like, we don't care when it happened. It's when the time that they feel that they need the help comes into effect. It doesn't matter if it's 3 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday, tomorrow. She says it doesn't matter.
On my end, I prefer we would pay it as it came, not like a set amount. It would just be easier. Like you get 6 to 8 visits. And then
Would we do this for just full time, or would I do it for every?
She said everybody would be, the way they typically set it up is it's just public safety. So there's not an indicator saying that, well, you're only a volunteer, you only get 3, or, just because you're a volunteer, you don't get to use this because, she says, since they work with smaller agencies, they understand that it's a different animal. The fact that we're probably known the person, related to the person, dealt with the person more often than even larger agencies. And she goes, so it's usually a little bit different type of problem solving that comes into that.
So all we have to do is give them a list of employees.
And they ask us every couple months just to update that, and then they get a totally unique number that means nothing. And when we get billed, that unique number just comes in and says employee whatever sought services, and this is how much it costs.
it's something we can try for a year and evaluate it, see what comes out.
Mental health is so big nowadays, and I think people do, I think you just have to address it because it's definitely part of this,
You never
the
know
world
what's- you
anymore,
never know
so.
what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
You don't want me helping you, man.
Ignore.
I'm gonna make a motion to go with 6 or 8 visits for all employees.
All.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion on it?
Try it for a year and see what happens.
All in favor?
Okay.
You good set up?
We had a question come up the other day. We had a tree come down, and so Josh and I got talking about if we are going to bring in, for instance, like 200 and 250 as town streets, if there was to be like a tree down or we were to have some type of incident on that, how we were gonna handle that.
Did you talk about the River Road?
Yeah, that one, which we knew, since a tree fell from the east, it wouldn't fall on us, but if it came from the west, then would it be,
Both sides or in the county?
okay. But like 200 were towns on both sides, 250 were on the east side. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, 200 were on the east side, 250 were on both sides.
Record which side it falls from, would it?
Yeah, and that's what we were saying, because, I mean, it's gonna be a call out more than likely for our town guys to have to come out. It's not gonna be that normally doesn't happen during the normal hours. And if it did happen during the normal hours, do our guys go or do we use county highway? That was kind of the question.
I called the county first, it's felt from their side.
I think we have to run through a process,
What's that?
see whose it is.
Well, I said, it's
I'm
on the
agree,
county
I
side.
agree with you.
Mhm.
That's-
I agree with you.
Motorcycle crew.
So if it does come from our side, are we calling our guys out or?
Probably have to,
Probably have
because it'll
to.
be on our
Yeah.
road.
Our road.
Okay.
Get 'em out.
Last year we approved the part-time for Derby Days. You guys already approved that. We did $40 an hour last year. Are we sticking with that? Is that the pay or are we going to increase it for this year?
Good enough. What you guys want to do?
I say pay the same.
Yeah.
Okay. The ice machine here at the fire department's been down for quite a while. I know Steven was trying to fix it, but
It's done.
did it get fixed? Okay, because I was in there the other day and it was still broke, so I was
It's
wondering.
been done for about 3 days.
I
Awesome,
said I ordered the new filter, so.
awesome. We're very happy about that. Just so it's on the radar, as far as getting a vehicle replaced, 2021 Tahoe, I am currently 47,000 miles on it, and I'm at 4,564.6 hours, which if you do the true conversion, that works out to about 136,000 miles that are on it.
We're not buying one this year.
So that's what I was asking is, are we going to start looking in January or are we going to?
I'm starting budgeting, so we need a list of what we want, so we can put that on our budget.
Just so it's on the radar that we know it's something.
I'm meeting with Financial Service Group in the first week of August, so if you want to shoot me an idea of a cost or how much we think go above a little bit, it'll be, I'm meeting with them in August. Rob's gave me an idea of some things for budgeting, but if you guys have things, let me know too, because we're already doing it. So that will be included.
And then would we want to do like we did before, and that would then replace a fire department vehicle, or would we just get rid of it, would be the next thing also to keep
Yes,
in,
we want to do.
keep in mind
I'd
on
say
that.
rotate
So-
them, you know.
Yeah, rotate. Same way we do it.
Okay. All right, as far as June, we had 79 calls. I took 52 of those. Josh took 27. I did, again with the complaints on traffic stops, I made 20, Josh made 11. Looks like Sheriff's Department took 99 calls last month. They made 25 traffic stops up here. Total citations were 39. I wrote 19 and Josh wrote 20. 30 of those citations and warnings were for speed. So, I mean, we're definitely stopping cars even though that certain people claim that we're not. So. Anybody, any questions for me?
I think they get you a sign that day on the ring.
Yep. And we still got one more?
What's that?
The digital signs?
Yeah, one more, yeah.
One more. Good.
And he's got his coloring pages up on
That's right.
the community page.
For the
Subsequent.
coloring contest. So. And we got our challenge coins came in.
Oh, good.
We have that.
Oh, one question.
Mhm.
What are we doing for the kids on Derby Days? in the Police department?
That's the coloring contest, and then they're gonna get a bag of goodies with different things in it.
Okay.
I got a call today about a donation of some handmade teddy bears that somebody's wanting to bring in after they hand make them. It's from somebody we can trust, and some things like that they want to bring us and start utilizing.
Cool. Great. Sounds good. Thanks, Brian.
Water, wastewater, Gregory.
Let me bring all my hats up here. Yeah, really big. So first of all, to do from where the new sidewalk we had installed, we had put in, there's an elevation change because we put it 1.5 inches above the road, so that way everything slopes away from it now. Versus we were 8 inches below and it just stayed underwater. So where it stopped and the old sidewalk continues, that wasn't part of the quote, but they quoted me at $4,000 to replace from there to the newer 5-foot wide sidewalk. And so I just wanted to run that by you guys, but it's, it's a 6-inch drop off right there. And he said depending on what he hits when he digs it up, it may actually be cheaper because the sidewalk is sunk so much that he could actually use that as a base to put the gravel on and pack it down. So I just wanted to. Right
Go
now.
forward, who's gonna leave it hanging? Yeah, I tell you what, man, is he gonna continue these prices?
Yeah, and,
Say we run with him when we can.
and that's, I guess, my next question is too, I've got a list of sidewalks that need attacked first, I've got a big list, yeah, and, so I just wanted to see how you guys wanna do it. I can come in every meeting and tell you guys, or if you guys have a budget, I can just take from there and start hitting the bad sidewalks and go from there.
That's probably a good question for Morgan and Financial Solutions is our sidewalk budget.
We didn't pull those numbers tonight, I'm not prepared.
No, that's fine. I mean, you can just I just was kind of putting this in everybody's
Okay.
court.
So that's something we should probably, so that we can
You
start
can
with
work
the
out of
worst
it.
and go down.
Yes.
Yeah, and I need to get some of these, some of the streets through here crack sealed, so I'm gonna get some bids on that also. Since we won't be doing a lot of repaving, I'm gonna try to keep what we got good, so.
I think we can crack seal some of them this year and get through. I mean, we're still gonna have some places.
Yeah, but the crack seal will extend it a little bit longer,
Sure.
so I,
Get some votes on that.
And we can sure make the town look a lot better with sidewalks.
yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
I was pretty happy with these contractors, they did a really good
Nice
job.
until
Yeah.
you turn the corner.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know,
Kids
what's
are
the,
probably ramping it.
Yeah, we put some caution tape up, but,
I'd be
yeah.
jumping off
we're
because I was a kid.
Should you go the other way?
Yeah, somebody will do that.
Yeah.
Need a motion on that, Dave.
What's that?
Need a motion on go ahead.
Yeah, whatever.
Make a motion, we'll go ahead and have Craig to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
finish up that one up there. I'll
Yeah.
second that.
All in favor?
Aye. And then we gotta get some numbers, get with Morgan on that, see what we can run with, and then we just got to make it go as far as we can.
Yeah,
The next
that's,
meeting, if he gets his list, Morgan knows what she got, then we can
Yeah.
decide where we turn Craig loose from.
If it's a line item in your budget, you don't have to take any special action. He can develop the list, get prices, submit it to you and say, yeah, money's there.
And don't forget, we got extra money from Mario.
Yes, we haven't been using that.
I mean, it's just building up.
Mhm.
Good.
That's
I don't
sure
touch
like
it.
it.
That'd be nice to get some spots taken care of.
yeah, and then some of them are gonna be a little more expensive because we've got a lot of trees
I
that
was
we've
gonna say, probably a
inherited
tree
now.
somewhere.
We
Yeah,
haven't used
Somewhere.
a lot of casino yet, either this year.
Okay.
and then the second thing I've got is I've got quotes for salt barn, and I've got a few different quotes. One of them's a little bit older, but it's so high that it's only gone up since.
It's so high.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But, I also have the two quotes that I'm most interested in are the hoop barn style, which are the fabric topped, so the salt won't rot. The salt rots metal, obviously, as all of our cars are aware of that, but it'll also get the roofs of the buildings eventually if we put it in like a metal building.
Sure.
And so the hoop style is also our cheapest way to go. And I have brought the salesman in if you guys had any questions for his name's Eric Neely. Yeah.
But it's the D&D sales is the hoop, and there's two different sizes, a 30 by 30 and a 22 by 30. And it'll be a roll-up door, and it's just like I said, strictly for, and we'll also be able to cut some money because we have all of those concrete blocks from in there that they can actually use for the foundation for the salt barn, so.
For the sides?
Yes, yeah, for the sides all the way around. So we can utilize those. And like I said, it'll just be strictly for salt, you know. It's just, I might be able to put the ply, I don't really want to put anything else in there because metal.
Metal, it's gonna throw away.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta get away from the buildings.
Yeah.
Do we have anything over at the crane still, or we get all that out?
I've got it out and I put
Salt's
it,
all out.
yeah, I put it back where it was, but it's
gonna rain
exposed
on
and it's already melting away. And the treated part of the salt is washing away
Oh,
and clumping.
What's time frame on getting this put up?
Time frame on getting it put up, I've got a load, so if we look on the quote here, on the 22 by 30, I got freight cost of $800 on that. I have a load coming in within the next 2 to 3 weeks. That freight, that's the rate if I can get it on this next load coming. If we miss that, that freight rate's liable to go up some. We could gain anywhere from $800 to $1,000 on freight if I get it shipped by itself. If we don't have to have it right away, I can get it with another load and I can cut the freight down. D.O. Corn and Sons Construction out of Rushville, they put all our buildings up for us. We talked to Doug and he said when the building's here and on the ground, 6 to 8 weeks, and he could have that. And he'll come over, since the town's providing the block, he'll do the groundwork, pour concrete pad, he'll set the blocks and then construct the.
I was curious, his brother is an elementary school principal, has been. To talk to him, you wouldn't know it.
So,
They've been around a long time, that's true.
so some things on this building, like Craig said, with metal building, you get into a pole structure with wooden poles, metal sides. Over time, you're gonna eat your wood up, you're gonna eat the metal off of it. These buildings are powder coated. It's 3-inch, 12 gauge, hollow structural tubing. It's powder coated, so if the salt gets on it, it'll stick to the powder coat. It's not getting through to the metal, so you're not getting any rust on the metal. The cover on the building, it's a polyethylene 12-ounce fabric cover. It's weed fabric. It comes with a 10-year prorated warranty. So say we put the building up, it's got the tarp on it, wind blows a tree down, hits the building, tears the tarp's covered for up to 10 years for a full replacement. The frame of the building, I put up a ton of these over time, and we had one recently. Craig and I talked about wind rating, because a lot of people get nervous. You've just got fabric on it. We had one in Rush County that when the straight line winds came through and they were 120, 130 miles an hour, when we had the really bad storms back in February, it hit that building and the cover stayed on it and the frame was still there. And we didn't have any issues out of it. And that was on a wooden post structure, that wasn't on concrete block.
Covered even with the wind?
What's that?
Is the wind even covered for 10 years?
Yes. Yeah, if
I heard
wind,
the other buildings blowed over to it, pole barns.
what's that? Yes, it actually, matter of fact, yeah, we, local farmer, the building's sitting here and he's got just an old shed he had built over here and he's storing chemicals in it. It picked that building up, flew it from here to probably the town meeting hall over here, hit the side of that building, and it didn't do any damage to framework. So,
That includes the concrete in the bottom.
yes, this quote here, the way we talked about it, Doug with D.O. Corn, he quoted concrete work, and that'll be to come in and do the groundwork, which will be, he'll have to go in, tear the sod up, wherever you decide to put it. He'll tear the sod up, put the stone in, pour the concrete, and he'll do everything. I mean, he'll come in and it'll be 100% buttoned up done for that price.
What's the price?
So on the 22 by 30,
Yeah, pass it around to you, right?
I think you'll get the bigger one.
Oh, there you got it. There. You got 30 by 30, 20,000.
3,000.
It's all you said, though.
Not even 3,000.
Yeah, right.
So
300.
I'm at, the building itself is 9425. If you guys decide to purchase the building, if it's paid full-time purchase, I can give a 10% discount on it. With freight and everything, that brings the cost of the building to $9,282.50. And then we've got $8,500 in installation, so we come to $17,782.50 for the 22 by 30. So we talked about on the 30 by 30, so the perk of the 30 by 30, it comes out to $20,224.30. The blocks that the town currently has, you've got 30 of them?
26, yeah.
26. The blocks are 6 foot long and they're 3 foot wide. If we do a 22 foot long building, the blocks are gonna lay odd and the end of the building's not gonna be. If we do a 30 by 30, you're gonna set your blocks and it's gonna look more even and uniform compared to.
Can we dump a axle in it?
The 30 by 30, I think it'll be really close, but I think if they go straight in the center, it'll dump. But it will dump our single axles. So, and where I was wanting to put it, they can dump right in front and I can just shove the salt right in. And all of our equipment will be able to fit in there, no problem.
That was what we initially talked about with the 22 by 30 and the 30 by 30. If we put that on a concrete wall, it'll be 6 foot. The blocks are 6 foot long, 3 foot tall, so it'll be set 6 foot in the air. And the peak on your building would be about between 15 and 16 feet. So you can back a triaxle up, I mean, just right dead to the front of it, dump it out, and then like Craig said, I think you would be better off to dump it in front of the building and then move the material in with a skid loader. And, another thing with the 30 by 30 that we talked about, you have less of a chance. It's a little bit wider building. If a guy goes in with a skid loader, you know, most of the time you're spreading salt, it's dark. A guy gets in there, you've got less chance of somebody spinning around, clipping a pole, hitting the tarp, hitting the wall. It saves you a lot of headache, I believe.
That's what the state's going to, is these buildings.
I was gonna say, there's quite a bit of the highway departments have gone to these buildings. I've seen them and when I worked at
Big
NDOT,
barn,
where they
there's a
done.
big barn over here in Mountain Town, back about a mile, been there for years. It's got that, it's a rigid metal frame and it's fabric. That sucker's been there forever.
Matt Farm has got one.
Yeah.
That one that Matlocks has is one of ours. We sold that to them.
It's been there for 2 years.
Uh,
I'll make a motion to go to 30 by 30.
I second that motion. It's a good deal.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Take them.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
What else you got, Craig?
I think that's it. Unless you guys got anything for me?
I was gonna say, we've got along fine with just 3 guys. It's made a little bit more, I don't know what you call it.
A little of a hassle, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
we had some projects, we have to put a water meter in, bungees, we have to do things that we normally wouldn't have to do that stuff, but we've had a bunch of that stuff covered. I mean, I think we're doing fine,
yeah, we're holding our own back there, so.
so.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Fire.
I had a meeting with him probably in a couple of weeks. Soon as Steve gets back off vacation.
Okay.
Contract,
Contract.
working on the contract
We
still.
did,
You'll call him tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think you or Christie provided me his contact information.
We need to go
what
let
are we
me know.
gonna do? I think the insurance is coming up on that, isn't it?
It'll be this month.
This month, July.
I think
I'm
we
gonna,
need to get a hold of them too, so we can sign it, so we can
So we can find
get
out.
it, yeah.
Yeah, our part's
Get it
done.
signed.
Well, I'm not that hard to find.
No,
So I don't know why I haven't heard from him.
Okay. Park?
She's got the fence up, the nets and the paint job are on the way. Last time I spoke to her, things are looking good.
When are we gonna discuss the community building?
We can start anytime. I mean,
Anytime.
anytime. I mean, we gotta get some drawings or some ideas of what we want.
Decide what we're gonna put.
Yeah,
Can
where
we
we're gonna put it,
informational?
and what do we want, I mean,
Yeah,
what
I
do we
mean,
want?
probably ought to meet out there and just look it over and decide.
Yeah.
Because we got utilities to get out there.
We gotta put lift station in probably to get to where we're going, which we
Okay,
can do.
then looking at it that way, I think the first thing we need to do is site,
Yeah.
and
And
then,
I,
and then your utilities.
that I've had some discussion within the school, and if it would at all be entertainable, it might be worthwhile some discussion with the school about the school donating some land for it, so it's more centrally located if you were playing Norton Park. I know I've heard some people say they'd rather it be in town. I think there might be some, I think the school may consider it if they were approached about it.
Okay. But we just need to definitely start the ball rolling.
Well, if everybody think about it for the next meeting, and
Okay.
come up with somewhere. I'd like to think family involved too.
Right.
You know, it's part of our plan for the park board to be out there. We've got a drawing somewhere around here with that picture of the park.
Yeah, we've done
No,
that.
everything can move. It's just a picture.
Yeah.
It's a picture.
Always got a picture.
But I think we need to know what our needs are gonna be for that. Needs for the building itself. What do we want? What do we want?
That's what I
Small offices, dance floor, meeting rooms, kitchen, what do we want? You know? Do we want space this big, want
Get some
something?
ideas.
We need some thoughts on that. And the public is welcome to suggest, throw things at us. This is for the town.
Yeah.
Next week?
Hope that hits the paper.
Does the town ever do like an online survey, just to put out? I mean, that'd be the easiest way for people to.
That's a Brad question. He's our IT guy.
Google Forms aren't hard.
Okay. Revitalization, we already were on 52 this week.
No, I hadn't heard anything from the engineering firms.
They've got some surveying done now, don't they?
Yeah. He was supposed to reach out to me sometime before the end of July.
Okay.
Let me know if they got it or not.
We want to keep right on top of these guys.
They seem pretty excited, so.
Yeah. I mean, I want them debugged every minute.
They do enough bugging on me, so yeah, no, it's not an issue. They keep us informed keep me informed on what's going on.
I was really disappointed they're just chipping and sealing 52 to Rosedale. I thought they was gonna paint it.
You know, there's a road over here in Hancock County, it says chip and seal. They blacktop that thing from one end to the other. Over here on, what I call Shiloh Road, the Shiloh Church, you get across
Yeah.
40,
Right.
blacktop all the way, and the sign says, watch where chips go.
Of course, those Rush County guys chip and seal's good enough.
Oh, yeah, good
Okay.
What else?
Another thing is, we're working with the state, and we gotta start looking at streetlights for this section. And probably we need to look all the way down through there. Did you look over the pots to see if they're any good at all?
There's a few decent ones. Most of them looks like the water froze and busted out.
They're pretty color faded too.
They look pretty bad.
If they're bad, get them out of here.
I mean, maybe something we work with the ag class next year. Maybe we could get them involved in helping us, because they're gonna put a,
They don't have a hothouse?
greenhouse.
Greenhouse, hothouse, greenhouse.
Because I'd like to do it with them. We say, Ralph?
I was gonna ask you something else, get the miscellaneous here.
Okay. for miscellaneous.
I said something to Morgan the other day. You see all these other towns have flags up, like New Pal or something. What if we get like the art class or somebody to design a Morristown flag?
Right.
We have ones on.
Brad said we used to have one.
Yeah, you'd be in a box in the clerk's office.
I think we might want to update that, whatever
I haven't seen it.
I think
Is that the one with the horse and buggy on it?
I think things have changed a lot.
You say maybe it's got a caveman on it? I don't know.
Maybe we could do something where they could put together a design with derby days or something. Then you guys
Not
can
this year,
choose.
Right.
Yeah, that would be.
Start.
Yeah, I mean, that would be neat to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do the seasons, 4 seasons, and then a Derby Day one.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
See what
neat.
you look into.
We're getting a new art teacher, so my name either.
Anything else?
The recommendation came from the back here that maybe we should look at that for the 200th anniversary of the town.
Ooh, coming up.
Have a contest.
You gotta have a contest for Derby Day. It's gonna take time for you guys to get all of that.
Only 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks ain't gonna cut it. That ain't happening.
I get a sheet with straight.
Yeah. I'm pulling off, get my collar. It's still looking in. Oh, God.
Yeah, I think I'll stay out with the sign. Anything else? Oh, my God. All day, right?